Hey, everybody, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line. It is episode 37 of the Halls of Arden Vul Megadungeon by Richard Barton, using the old school essential system by Gavin Norman, otherwise known as Necrotic Gnome. I am the referee for the evening. My name is John, and going around the horn, we have a full house, starting with...
Hi, I'm Mike. I play Goran, the 5th level dwarf.
I'm David, and I play Onweir, the illusionist with spells.
Nice. I am Matt. I play Andreas, the left hand of Lysion. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. 5th level cleric, and ready to go.
Hi, I'm Ted. I'm once again playing Mortis J. Gobliano, level 4 goblin.
All right. So, yeah, very psyched that we have a full house tonight. It is the 29th of Ligarios. We're almost through the month, which is pretty amazing because I think we've been stuck in this month for quite some time. It's about 12:40 p.m. They are currently in the basement beneath the cells, underneath the residence of the gladiatorial school, far to the west of the ruined city of Arden Vul. Not that far, about 350 feet or so. But and they have discovered a pit or a trap door that led down into the depths below, hoping to search out the means of Garalad's egress and the reason for his the reasons for why he has established dominance in the halls of Arden Vul with the baboons. With them right now, we have the retainers. We have Yost, which is Mort's retainer; Codswallop, which is also Mort's retainer; Atticus, Skullface, the leprous thief, which is Goran's retainer; and Njal Oakheart, who is Avaricios's retainer.
How y'all doing?
Who are we missing? We're missing Samantha, the Red, who is Onweir's, and we are missing Elizabeth Cormick, who is also Avaricios. They are back at the Inn of the Broken Head, guarding the stash with a capital S. All right, so reminder for both me and the audience, can you, spellcasters, please let me know which spells you had memorized?
I can. Yes. Okay. I have Cure Light Wounds prepared 2 times because of our cool new death rules that we have no need at all to try out. And I also, for my level 2s, I have Silence and Bless.
Nice.
I have level 1 Cleophalis's Look Away spell, the Bracteros effect. And for level 2, I have a brain full of small spiders and improved phantasmal force.
Yeah.
You do have a brain full of small spiders.
Yeah, that is the most apt thing ever. I think you automatically have that prepared at all
John,
times.
using the new rules that came out for the dwarf, I have power word kill.
Oh, really? I didn't. It must be a third party.
All right.
You got to stay up with the times, bro.
It's a euphemism for something else.
Wow, the power curve in OSC is just like...
Woo!
Goblins are immune to that, by the way. That's just a goblin thing.
Nice.
So
Must be nice for them.
it is nice being a goblin. It's just pretty much the best.
They have all the anti-dwarf abilities, like anti-power
really
word
do.
kill. Yeah, David, I think that you're discovering Brain Full of Small Spiders in our Attack on Effects episode disappointed a lot of fans when you did not show up last episode, because everyone was very much jonesing to see you bust that spell out. Okay, so
Fair enough.
we did discover that last time with the XP that they got from last session that Atticus actually had enough XP to level, but we did determine that he has to return to his safe haven or camp, which is probably the better option if they actually want to see Atticus actually level up, or anybody for that matter. It's just Atticus is the only person in the party currently that has enough to actually level. Okay, and before we get started, one last thing. This is kind of a major change for the campaign a little bit. So what I decided to do is that we have, up until this point, just been deciding to call the names of the levels that you have, like the discrete levels that you know are discrete levels, by just whatever names that you guys came up with. So the goblin halfling level that you guys have been exploring, initially we called the Debouchement. All right. And then there was obviously the baboon level you've been calling Plunger Town, which is great. But then I realized that the actual names of these levels that are published, you would never actually learn. Like, there's no reason you would actually get to ever know these things. So I'm just going to tell you what they are so that you know what they are. I'm not going to tell you like what the number level is. You're still going to have to like suss out for yourself by mapping the verticality of the dungeons based upon the descriptions I tell you about how far it gets how far it takes to get from one to the other. But I think that as long as the published names of the levels aren't spoilers, that once they become not spoilers, I'll just give you the name of the level. Okay? All right. So the debouchement level, the one that the pyramid leads straight down to, like the main entrance, basically, is called the Halls of Thoth. Okay? And the Plunger Town, the one with Garalad and the baboons, is the Howling Caves.
We never would have guessed that one.
Yeah. The other one that you guys that I am going to give to you is one that you've only visited briefly, but you did go through it, which was the level that the Darlings actually escaped from on their own, in which you guys returned with the Wine Dark cohort and ran through quickly to get down to level 3. We did very briefly, like you skirted right by them. Remember the centipedes that we just skipped the battle and all that sort of stuff, right? That is just called the basement.
The basement?
The basement, yep. So,
and that leads down to level 3, you said?
Yeah, that's the way that you went down to level 3, yeah. Remember you used Dalton's intelligence in order to do the fastest route down to level 3 that you thought would be appropriate, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so the basement, the Halls of Thoth, and the Howling Caves are the actual names of those 3 levels that you have explored. Cool. Okay? All right, so back to this basement that you guys are in. You have to remember that the weird thing about where you are right now, you're only in the very first room, basically, that's underground, but that room is actually 50 feet square, and every square on the map is also 50 feet. It's the exact same scale as the map of the ruins of the city of Arden Vul. So very, very large. The map is 5 times larger in scale than everything else that Ted has mapped thus far.
So based on how we went down the stairs and entered into the cells and went down through the trapdoor, standing in this room, we are effectively under the gladiatorial school.
Yes, you are. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You are directly underneath the residence, whatever that happens to be. You have the feeling like the school itself was probably more in the pit.
Right.
Yeah. But you basically went down those wide staircase that went underneath the residence, and then there was all the cells, right? And in the midst of all the bones of previous adventurers, which you have reason to believe are probably Guelph's companions, you found that trap door that led down even further into this, what appears to be some sort of storage room of some sort. It is worked stone floor, and it smells badly of animals. Yeah, and it has like these large Arcantian bricks, stone, not bricks, but stone bricks, I guess, but they're stone, that form the entire thing around the entire place, about 15 feet high. The stone itself, like you see that the mortar in some places does seem to have been eroded and chipped away, and there's like debris on the floor and whatnot. So some of the bricks aren't exactly like perfectly aligned, like some of them shifted and stuff like that. And there is a small tunnel that, let's see, is it a hole? I think it was a hole. Let me see here.
You described it as a hole last time.
Yeah, so in the worked stone floor, there is basically like a 3-foot wide hole that kind of slopes towards the northwest, and it's it looks when you I remember this is how we left it, where you put the lantern down there and you looked and you saw that it was basically only 4 feet tall at this point. So Gorand and Mort could probably walk without too much discomfort. Mort definitely could. Gorand probably has to bend his neck a little bit. But Onward and Avaricios, that's like a full stoop, like, you know what I mean, like bent over. Gotcha. You would definitely have if violence erupted in this, if you went down there, at least with the dimensions that you're seeing right now, if you went down there and violence erupted, you would definitely be at penalty.
Good to know.
If we all go down there together, John, I'm going to make sure that I crop dust the humans on their hands and knees behind me.
Of course, goes without saying.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have to roll for that? There's got to be a
No,
roll.
there's no roll. It's a
I
dwarven
want you to
power.
fail.
It's right. It's right
I
next to
want you
power
to have
spell.
an arbitrary failure on that.
Whoops, I
So,
started. Hey,
John.
Yep.
Ted, we should go down ahead of time because we have the infravision and we can run back
Yeah,
if we need to.
Absolutely. I just wanted to ask John, at this point, how far below surface level? I mean, we got a 15-foot ceiling, the trapdoor drop, the stairs down. Am I like 30 feet, 40 feet below ground?
Yeah, that's about right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's really smart though too, because Ted, we should start putting that depth in on our maps.
Yep. I got to try and figure it out. I started working out like levels, but I don't have a lot to go on, and so every little bit we can get like this.
Well, you guys have been up and down like the pyramid steps so many times. Like, I'm pretty sure the number is 250 feet, but any of those vertical climbs that you've made, I can just repeat to you. I can find them for you. So
I'll ask you about it later.
You know, now the tricky thing is Plunger Town. We have zero idea because we teleported in there.
No, but when remember on our way out, we had to go down to the goblin level to get
You're
out.
right.
Yeah.
So we just
So it's actually above. Yeah.
So not necessarily
Yeah,
a map, but it might be a good idea to actually start a diagram that's actually like a side view with just sort of, labeling what you think might be on top of what, that sort of thing.
Z-axis, baby.
Mhm.
So, John, I had two questions specifically about this room. First of all, actually, I have three. I'm sorry, I lied. The ladder, how far was the ladder? It seemed like it was described as
15.
really long.
15.
Only 15?
15.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
The second thing is you described a strong animal smell.
Mhm.
Is this a foreign like right now we know the smell of lizards and we know the smell of baboons extremely well.
Yeah.
Does it smell familiar? Does it seem like animals?
It does. It actually smells like the lizards.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's or
And
bad. I mean, bad.
The shifted stones, if I recall, I think last week it came up. I think they look like not that they're like crumbling or moving from water erosion or something, but that this is from the shock, maybe earthquake or the blast or something like that, right?
No, it was the weight of the stones on top of each other was crushing the mortar between the stones.
That looks possible. Yeah. Yeah.
Do any of them look like the shape outline of a door? Can we just push it and do the old like secret door because the mortar's bad thing?
Nothing looks like a door.
Okay.
But yeah, there are certain, when you're kind of observing like the loose mortar and stuff like that, you can kind of tell that, like some of the blocks actually seem like when you're really getting close, like one like huge block actually seems to not only have been crushed a little bit with cracks riddled through it, but that it's actually sort of coming out, like it's not flush with the rest of the wall, like very, very slightly by like a couple of like centimeters, maybe at most. Yeah. But
we should,
like
we
Goran,
should spend a turn searching this room for secret doors, right?
I agree.
Who's got a crowbar? Larl's bag.
Let me see if we already have one. We may.
I do have a.
I have one.
All right, great.
Now, I will.
I also
I will
have a
point out,
chisel for what it's worth.
and I would ask our stonemason master over there,
Yeah.
if we mess with this stone, are we gonna die? Is that the one holding everything?
Great
up?
question. Great question.
okay, so Goran, you're looking at it, and it does seem a little bit odd. You could explain away that it was the sheer weight that is lying on top of it. It doesn't seem. What am I trying to say? From what you've seen of previous Arcantian make, or Goran, even though it's nowhere near Dwarven make, of course, the Arcantians, as far as humans go, are pretty decent at masonry. But this room seems to be a little bit shoddy, like it wasn't made by like a top engineer. Like the stones are too big, they're not placed in the best way for load bearing, that sort of thing. So you could explain this one that's jutting out as just poor work, and that it's just suffering the consequences of age, and it's not being able to load the bears. So you think that if you don't have the tools, but if you thought that you would be able to actually wrench this gigantic brick out of the wall, that bad things might happen.
Okay. When he's touching it, I'll slap his hand to it. Don't touch that.
I swear to opinion.
So the brick, I should be clear, it's probably about like a 3 foot by 3 foot cube of solid granite.
Gotcha. So, but we do want to search this room. I think we should take a turn to search this room because it's very odd to have a big stone box with only a ladder to egress it, right? Like that seems weird. And can I ask one other follow-up question, John? And I just don't remember what you said last time. We had asked if that tunnel on the floor looked like it had been dug into this room or from this room. Do you remember what you told us?
Into.
Yeah, so there's debris in the room.
Something from outside dug its way into this room.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And I think on the Discord, I asked if it reminded us of the tunneling we saw off the access to the Hall of Heroes. And I think John said it was rough, similarly rough, but otherwise wasn't the same scale and it wasn't the same sort of type of tunnel. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. The only thing that you could say that is in common is that it looked like it was worked by like sentient hands, you know what I mean? Like people with tools, you know what I mean? Like not a purple worm or something like that, right? Yeah.
So not dwarves.
Well,
The dwarven one.
Maybe.
Oh,
That's he's not wrong, Ted. He's not wrong. So what do you do?
Well, we want to
search
search
the room for sure.
this room.
yeah.
You're gonna take a turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, we should note lantern use. So I guess I am carrying the lantern at present.
I can have Atticus carry it.
Oh, he's got. Okay, yeah. Let's let Atticus do it then. He's got.
Yeah.
He's got a hand free. How about you?
That's.
All right.
I'm raising a finger at you, but you can't see which one.
When was
until
how long
Atticus' hand falls off.
did we turn on the lantern the moment that you went down into this hole?
Down the.
Okay, so I'm going to say it's been on for a turn, so that's going to be 24 turns, right? Give me a second. 1, 2, 3, 4 minus 3 is right here. That's this is Nyal's lantern, right?
No, this is Avaricios' lantern, but I guess I'm handing it to Skullface.
Oh, Skullface. Skullface. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I need to know who's carrying it. That's what I'm.
Yeah, and I'll mark it off mine.
Okay, so yeah, it is. It's 10:40. It's gonna. 12:40 in the afternoon right now. And yeah, so you take a turn to thoroughly search. Okay. Let me just roll a die here. Hold on a sec. There's Gornd. That's actually appropriate. So Gornd, when you're taking a look specifically, the rest of you are searching. I'm going to say it's going to take 2 turns to actually thoroughly search this 50-foot room for everything that you could possibly find. Gornd, you are entranced by this strange piece of stone. When you previously had determined at a glance that would probably be load-bearing and cause some damage, when you look a little bit closer and you get your hands on it, you can kind of see that not all is what it seems. It seems that actually that stone is much lighter and probably, strangely enough, hollow.
Is this the one that was coming out of the wall just a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to take like the hilt of my dagger and tap the stone and just kind of determine if the whole thing is hollow or if there's just a hollow portion of it.
It appears that when you're like ding 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 ding, you can all hear Gorn like echoing back through this huge chamber. Gorn, you can determine that there is most likely. I'm saying this only because you're a dwarf. There's most likely a smaller cube of emptiness within the cube itself.
Okay, so the edges that are peering around the between the centimeter jutting out part, I'm going to feel around that and then see if I can find some sort of catch or a lever.
You find one. Yeah, it appears like you thought it was just like a rough stone edge, and you were like Archontians when they're shoddy make, and then you roll your fingers back up, and you're just wait a second. And you're like, and you hate to admit it in your head, but you're like, that's ingenious. And
I tell everybody that obviously a dwarf designed this secret compartment.
Of course. Subcontractor.
Filled with farts, probably.
Do you pop the catch?
I'm going to stand to one side. I'm going to call Atticus over and say, Atticus, I think I have something that might interest you. And I show him the button and I'm like, but don't open it yet. I want you to look for traps, Atticus.
Okay. Roll them bones.
Okay.
He's like, what's this? Interesting.
That's not good, Atticus. You fucked up again.
No, master, it's fine. It's fine. just press here.
All right. I will shoo him away, and I will be the one to open it.
Okay. You press the catch, and with a surprisingly deep like chunk, the entire 3 foot by 3 foot face of the stone block actually opens up on secret hinges, and there's like it's amazing workmanship actually. Like you could not see the seam at all, and it opens up, and it's like a safe almost, right? And your instincts were correct, Gorn. Inside there, so there appears to be like a 4 foot inch thick stone like around it, right? Like exposing like this large cavity in the middle. And it opens up, and in the lantern light, which Atticus shines over your shoulder, Gorn, is, oh my goodness, some treasure. It glints in your eyes, and you can immediately tell Gorn, and you can see Atticus like literally just like a string of drool just starts to like drop out of his mouth, and his eyes like pop open. And he's like, "Master, look." There
eyes actually stay in.
Yeah, there is basically on the bottom of the cavity is a mounded pile of ancient Arcantian solidi, like golden solidi, like the really malleable stuff, like a huge mound, and sitting atop that and into it like a dragon's hoard, is like mounded pieces of jewelry and other strange, like 3 different vials, all of different colors and thicknesses, and also a long, it's probably like, what is this? This is about like 16-inch long wooden clasped box of very fine like teak wood as well. There is a gold collar that is set with garnets, like thick heavy gold, draped every like half inch with garnets all the way around. There is
what's this?
There's a necklace that you mistake for silver, and you're like, and he says, "No, master, it's not silver, it's platinum." And it's depending from the necklace itself is dripping with emeralds. There are a pair of matching platinum and emerald earrings that match the necklace. A huge silver brooch that would go right on like your solar plexus, that is set with an enormous multifaceted topaz that glints like orange gold in the lantern light, and 3 different looking potions.
Holy
Gentlemen,
shit.
I'd say our job is done here.
Yeah, none of them are. I don't have color descriptions right now, but none of them are ones that you have seen before.
What do they
The
look
gold
like, John?
solidi guys, aren't those worth like 20 gold each or something like that? They're like something like huge.
Yeah, each solidi is worth 10 times the amount, but is also 10 times as heavy.
I think for us, we have an artifacts bag.
Is there any value? I hate to say it. Is there any value in leaving some of this here and reclosing the stash and only bringing what we want to use for our Garland thing? Because we're going to be encumbered at the beginning of our adventure.
Okay.
I know that's a crazy thing to say.
Can I make the argument that we take this stash and we go back to the end of the Broken Head? Only because I have a thief that's about to level up. We're all going to get XP for this. We leave it there. We literally come back tomorrow morning. I don't want to leave the delve. However,
what is our worry about Garland on our timeline? Is my question to that. Don't forget, we are on a fast timeline.
I think John had said as long as we're like back doing stuff within a week, and we've only been gone for 3 days, we're fine.
It'll be 4 if we go back and sleep again, and then however long it'll take us to get to Garland, which may be a very long time because we don't know the scope. Just throwing it out there.
I think I'm with David on this. We close the door.
You guys are fools.
I think we should take magic stuff if there's anything that looks magical, but I think like the pounds of coins we leave here for now. Just a thought.
Remember, we can also, nobody's getting encumbered. Somebody has to carry the thing with 2 hands. We could put all of this stuff in the sack.
Yeah.
And the only downside is somebody's holding it with two hands.
And we can use the stack now.
Codswallop volunteers to take it all back to the inn.
You can still use the sack. You can still take stuff out of it. Yeah. It just takes two hands to carry right now while there's stuff in it.
But that's if you put one gold piece in it or 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Like it's still the same thing. John, how many Solidai are we talking about here?
If there is so many that I would actually, before I reveal it to you, I would say it would take a turn to count it.
Okay, I'm gonna
let's put it that way.
Okay,
I'm gonna make one more remark.
John, is this 10,000 GP worth of stuff? Just ballpark.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back.
Yeah, we're going back.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Right.
100%.
But I do think that we should, if we're doing this, be very conscious of our time.
You know what we can do?
In terms of the next
we can leave Atticus and one of the other retainers here to watch the entrance from above and make sure no one comes and goes.
Like hide out in the villa. Hide out in the villa and watch.
Although they have to camp overnight, and that's a little scary.
What's your concern there, though? Why are they doing that? Sorry.
I mean, if you're worried about this being an egress for Garrelad or something like that, if he's going to.
No, I'm worried about. Again, I take it or leave it. It's okay if you disagree, but I'm worried about our wanting to get to Garrelad quickly before the Isocritus news is broadly dispersed. And if John was like, yeah, give or take a week, it's okay, but beyond that, you might be in trouble. I'm cool with doing that. I'm absolutely cool with going back right now. I'm just saying we should keep that in mind if we're on day 4 or 5 of the delve and we haven't even gotten to Plunger Town, that it is a concern and we may or may not want to rush past things that you find interesting right here.
But an important thing that just may supersede everything here is the fact that there is a limit to what Laryl Sack can have in it. The amount of coins exceeds that limit, even if the sack is empty. Yeah.
Okay. So definitely. Then we fill it up. We fill up our other sacks, which we have.
And let's just go back, guys.
We'll go back.
We leave it at the end. What?
Can I just say? Okay.
Yes.
The walk from here back to the inn is a couple hours. Yeah, John?
Yes.
So 2:00. Call it 2:00 when we get there, maybe 2:30. Drop it in the box. We can be back here by 5:00, and we just commit to camping in the tunnels. We don't really lose.
We camp overnight in our room
and just leave super early
and level up. like level up
thing. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We want to do the leveling up thing.
I think we go back because I was really worried about how late in the day it is already, and given the speed of exploration and how far we have to go to, if we go through all this cave and stuff anyway, we could end up like running into Garrelad at the end of an exhausted, trip.
You can also just seal this up too. If you want to continue on, you don't have to take the stuff.
No, that's true, and we absolutely could do that. But layers don't remain empty for long. There were three giant lizards in here first time, and we got pretty lucky in that fight. We don't know what the hell is going to move in after we are gone for however long, right? I would just say the stack of gold in hand is better than the death in the tunnels down below, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go tuck in that kid, but my vote is still for taking everything back to the inn and then coming back as early as possible.
All right, let's run through that as fast as possible on camera. Does that make sense?
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. John, we go back. We stow everything we can.
Okay.
So let's take the turn to count so we know what we can carry, I think, right?
And David, if you have like a detect magic or something available, then that's right, you don't. I was going to say we could figure out what is magical.
I can test it out once we're back at the inn, but I can't do that right now. I do have a good bit of space on my person though.
Just as an aside, I was going through the notes and I noticed something interesting that I think had all forgotten about Arcanum. You have some Arcanum, right?
It's in storage. I don't have it on me.
Oh, it is. Oh,
there was some in the magical laboratory. Yeah.
Did you know that it can be used to recharge wands?
I did not know that. That's cool though.
Yeah,
it's very good to know.
You don't have a detect magic wand though, do you?
I have a detect evil wand that I also have in storage and not with me right now.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Never mind then. It's the light wand that ran out of charges. Is that right?
Yes.
Light wand's out of charges. I have possibly a wand of frost that was Isocritus, and I do not have the detect evil wand on me right now.
Okay. Yeah. So, John, let's take our turn. We'll count things. We'll see how much we can carry, and then we'll go back.
Okay. Give me one moment here.
Yost will sing his happy barbarian money counting song. He's very pleased. He's so excited.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Killing it over here.
Okay, so what you guys find. This is the single largest haul of gold piece value treasure you have found by a considerable margin, even more than behind the Ruby Throne. An incredible amount, like a stunning amount. You are not. It's beyond what you probably think. All right, there is. You ready?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm putting this in the loot log here. So okay.
Well, you might want to expand the cell width. You have 6,161 ancient gold solidi. That is 10 times the value in gold pieces. It's worth 60,161.
Oh, baby, I'm leveling up again. Hey.
It's worth 61,600.
6,161 ancient gold solidi. Give me
you gotta hurry up and do this before Matt comes back, so we can tell him it was 645 gold.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Hold on one
Platinum
second.
necklace with emeralds.
Hold on a second. I'm rapidly putting things into a spreadsheet. Give me a moment.
You didn't think we were going to find it?
No, I did not. Okay, so the gold collar that is set with garnets, heavy lies the crown, is worth 6,000 gold.
God.
The platinum necklace that is has emeralds depending upon it is worth 9,000 gold.
Oh my God.
The matching pair of platinum and emerald earrings that go with that is worth 4,000 gold.
Hey, John, can I ask you a question?
The earrings are 4,000. The necklace is 9.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
John, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
Which is an annoying player question, admittedly. It occurred to me just now that you probably wouldn't give us gold values if any of these were magical, since we can't sell magical items. So is it safe to say none of these are magical so far?
Yes.
Okay. These are just mundane treasures. Obviously mundane. Okay.
Yeah, you can metagame like that. I don't care. Yeah.
Okay.
The silver brooch that is set with a gigantic multifaceted gold orange topaz is worth 5,000 gold.
Holy shit.
Baby.
There are 3 different potions.
Yep.
Which are valuable. Obviously magic, and there is this strange 16-foot long teak wood,
16-inch.
I'm sorry, 16-inch long teak wood box, very very delicate with a delicate gold clasp on it. That is has a tiny little lock on it, but the lock looks rather intricate. The top of the box is very finely engraved with a depiction of what looks to be like in exactly the same style as the pediment sculptures that were on top of the residence itself. So it sort of has like but not as large and grand as the pediment, obviously, but just it seems to be like a section of that pediment has sort of been etched into the wood itself of fighters dressed in basically just like loincloths and strange looking spiked armor with weird weapons, like fighting off against each other. Like one has a net and one has like a trident.
So Matt, unfortunately, all those gold solidi were just iron painted with gold. So all told, they're only worth like 600 GP.
Pull the other one.
It's a real shame. It's a real shame.
You didn't have me for a second.
Oh, come on.
Not 1 second.
Well, I'll tell you what. Would you care to guess the actual value, Matt?
Please take a guess.
The whole hoard.
The whole hoard?
Whole hoard. Why not?
14,350.
Nailed it. You nailed it, dude. That was great.
And that's the share he'll split.
Little higher, buddy.
Yeah.
24,000.
Little higher, buddy.
Just let him know.
Oh, we are so going back. What are we?
We got game to play. We're going back.
It's about 80,000.
About
Oh.
80 grand.
Okay, yeah, we're going back so hard.
I have 85,236. Is that right?
Seems 80, 70, 85,610 is what I have.
You guys, we just paid for a stronghold.
We did.
Guys,
Okay.
do we need to
Or-
murder all of our retainers before we get back?
I
Some of them
love
do
this
get
suggestion. I've made it in the past, and the fact that our priest is saying it now lets me know what his threshold is. Yes, Avaricios.
What is my name, my
Indeed-
friend? What is
indeed
my
I
name?
do.
Say my name.
Hold on one moment.
I don't mind killing Codswallop, but we're keeping Yo.
Yeah, we
I
can't get rid of
also-
Yost.
I'm only noticing it now, and it'll be more apparent as it gets darker here. But the red light on my mic is giving me a devil's glow now that it's mounted in my face. So I'm perpetually going to be satanic looking over here.
Okay. So
What
that
are you
was-
doing, Hal?
Hey,
Right.
Daisy.
Oh yeah,
Daisy.
we owe like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half shares of treasure. So
They're all going to quit. We just ruined the market. They're going to be like, we're out.
Well, let me
actually,
ask.
though, Lisbeth and Samantha didn't go on this delve.
Oh, you can't do that.
You know, you can't do that to them.
I know.
Hey, wait,
That's still the deal.
They don't get XP.
They don't get XP, baby. They're
No.
not
Get
getting
money.
shares of this. They weren't on the delve. We hired and we're paying them to hang out.
You can give them shit. They don't get XP. You can give them
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
money you want, but they do not
Well,
get
that's
XP.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Right, but
I
they're-
think we should give them a bonus for sure.
Their
For
wages
sure,
are
for
2
sure.
gold pieces a day and a half share. So
Okay.
they're technically working for us right now. But anyway, okay.
Okay, so here's the
100%.
grand total with also the 75 gold that you found in lizard poop.
Keep
is-
that separate, all right?
Is 85,685. Okay. That's the grand total of value. It's a massive amount. Now, however, the problem that you're dealing with right now is that you can only take 5,000 of those coins, and then the bag is full.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I have
Every
lots of
other
slots.
single item is a slot. Okay.
Okay.
So that's every potion, every piece of jewelry, the box. All of those are 1 slot each. And then you also have 1,161 gold that you cannot fit into that bag. And that gold
Right.
is oh wait, no, you can take even less of that silver die because it's 10 times as heavy. So we have to take okay, so it's actually
You can only carry 500 solidi
that's right. You can only carry 500 soul die, yeah.
in the sack.
Yes.
All right.
Um,
And there's
well,
6,000
first of
solidi.
all,
There's
the one thing we
6,161.
can do is just stick our torches and bedrolls and wineskins in the stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% agree. 100%
Max
agree.
out everybody's. So if a normal slot is 100 coins, then a solidi slot is 10 coins. Is that
That's
right, John?
Mm, yes, so 10 coins per
So-
slot. Yeah.
What's our
Everybody-
total slottage, Ted?
Oh my God, we
What
can't
shall we
even begin to maybe I can carry 100 solidi,
Yeah.
per character.
Prior to the
We're gonna have to
solidi,
make
how
more
many
trips.
slots are our items? Let's just start with the items.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can carry 10 additional slots worth of items, which is basically 100
I have
solidi.
a lot of slots too. But how many items do we have?
Items.
Ted.
Okay. Niall has 1, 2, 3.
No, not on our persons, guys. I'm asking Ted how many items, non-coinage that Ted
Oh,
we
in
have
the
loot
stash.
in the chest. Yeah.
Oh,
With
can
the
the
necklaces,
jewelry
the
be worn?
earrings, the potions. Yeah, you can wear jewelry.
Okay,
So that
so
Can the
would be
jewelry be worn? So we can just wear those.
You can wear all the jewelry.
we could wear the jewelry. There's 4 pieces of jewelry that are 1 slot each. A box. We could leave the potions for now because we're going to come back this way. We might want them. So, even if everybody carried 100 solidi in their backpack and 100 in a large sack, and we walked home with 200, that's like
You still haven't given me a number. I'm sorry to be.
I'm not
keep
sure
asking
what
the
you're
actual
asking.
number. We have 4 jeweled necklaces, a box.
That's it.
How many potions?
3.
There's 3 potions.
So that's 8 items that aren't coinage, which is what I was asking. So we have 8 slots minimal that we have to occupy prior to coinage, right?
No, because the jewelry doesn't occupy a slot because you just wear it.
Is
And
that true, John? The minute we put it on,
No, it occupies because it's so heavy. It's
big jewelry. It's not like a baby jewelry.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 8 slots that we have to account for prior to the coinage, unless we're leaving the potions, right?
Yes.
Which I think we should.
I think we should leave the potions.
Do that first, right? So without the potions, we have 5 slots to occupy, unless we want to open the box now. Correct.
I think we leave the box for now.
Okay.
We should leave the box for now.
Leave the box. Okay.
I mean, we can take the box, but the box just occupies a slot, right?
But what's in the box?
What's
I
in the
do
box?
want to know what's in the box. It's Pandora, I'm sure, but
I guess it pales in comparison to all that shiny gold. Apparently,
I don't
That's
know,
cool.
man. But
okay, I'll give her a look. Can I take a look at this box?
why don't you let Atticus check it for traps first?
Sure, Atticus, go for it, baby.
All right.
I mean, also tomorrow. Well, it would like use me from. Oh, wait, no.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. That's his answer.
He can try and pick the lock too.
okay. It looks like to be a very fine lock.
Okay.
Atticus looks
I
like
back
he's
up a
happy as
little
a pig
bit.
in shit.
No, Atticus, you suck. It's fine.
All right. There's a very.
Wait a minute. I'm going to shrink Clavum down to a lockpick.
I was waiting. God.
Mike is on fire.
Okay. Yeah. So Clavum, and you're like Atticus. Just step aside, brother.
I give him a wink as I like. Clink.
Yeah.
Atticus is like, you had this the whole time?
Yeah, exactly.
Master, what a fine tool you have.
He
That's what I'll say.
you open it up and you expect to see some more jewelry or maybe some notes in there, but what you see inside is something that you've never seen the like of before. It's very, very strange in there. So inside this oblong rectangular box, right, 16 inches wide, it is lined with a very, very fine velvet that seems to be deteriorating a little bit. But the velvet has been cut into a number of grooves. A lot of them, actually, probably about like 50 or so, like very, very fine. And in those grooves, almost like slides, like microscope slides, are long, thin rectangles of stone, of very, very fine, delicate stone, like tiles. They're little, and they do look to be like the size of, obviously your characters wouldn't know, but they like the size of microscope slides. They're all like slotted in there.
Oh,
Okay.
Are
they from the teleportation tiles?
Yeah, they're not the teleportation tiles.
No, those are squares, and those are rather thick. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we can't see them.
We all got a little excited there.
You can see that on the underside of the lid of the box, there is the same sigil that was on top of the box, right? That has sort of been embossed in the velvet. Is that the word embossed or
Carved in wood, probably.
not carved? No, it's like in velvet, so it's like embroidered,
cut.
embroidered in the velvet on the top, and then there is a name that is written underneath, also embroidered, and that name is Flavius Marcalis.
Oh, Uncle Flavius. Oh, this is a family heirloom. Oh, how wonderful. Thank you for finding this. I'll just take that.
So the stone tiles are all in their slots.
Can I very carefully lift one up and hold it to the lantern light?
Okay, when you pick one up, you can see that it's very thin, very delicate piece of stone. However, this is takes the most expert workmanship. There is a depression in the center of the stone tile that is circular, perfectly circular, that is covered with a fine, thin piece of transparent glass.
They literally are slides.
And underneath that piece of glass, trapped in that very, very small cavity in the center, is a single lock of hair.
Oh, this is some wizard shit.
And then on the back, you actually see that there is a name that has been carefully engraved on the back. I don't have them written, but it's like ancient Arcantian, like Mithric, basically in name, a very Roman Latin name.
I wonder if these are like favored gladiators or something like that.
Well, these are the control things, right? Like if you've got somebody's hair, you can find them or can dominate them or something like that. This is ancient magic.
Very possible. So with that in mind, John, I have no experiential reference for something like this.
No,
at least the component parts, like Ted said.
No. So this is it's actually important. Like, unfortunately, it isn't a negative, but just the fact that it is negative, like you don't have no experience, might tell you something. You've never seen anything of its like before. It's very, very creepy.
Love that.
I'm going to put it back, John, and very carefully, and then we'll close the lid. Is there? But I don't think if there was a way to close it without locking it.
Yeah, it's just it is actually like a lock that can be removed. Right? Mm-hmm. You picked it, so you can just put the lock in your pocket if you want to, and it's just like a clasp.
There's no key or anything inside for that lock, is there?
No.
Like tucked in the velvet? Mm-mm. And there's no other key in the treasure pile for it?
No.
Okay. I didn't hear your description of the outside of the box. Was there any religious iconography on the outside, or was
no
it
religious? But there was.
And shit.
Yeah, gladiators were. Yeah, it appears that this was. Like the sigil of the house or either of the school or perhaps the family that actually ran the school, something like that.
Okay.
So guys, a quick count of like my 3 characters. If I dump all my mundane stuff that I don't mind leaving behind, I can carry a whopping 660 Arcantian Solidai. So
right. Well,
we round that up, generally across the party, I'm just guesstimating here. We can probably get like maybe 1,200 plus another 500 in the sack.
Well, let me ask you something. How many large sacks do you have already? And were you figuring in that?
I was figuring in each of my 3 guys carrying a large sack. Yeah.
And don't forget that one retainer or one person will be wholly dedicated to holding that sack, the Laurel sack.
Right. Right. So that Laurel sack, 500 coins, that's on top of what they can get in their backpack. So that's like about 600 coins for one person, whoever's holding that.
It's going to take 10 trips.
It's going to take a lot of time.
Well, why don't we take...
Not 10, but, 4 or 5 trips.
Why don't we take one full load back, stay the night, come as super early in the morning as we can, and do our delve, and on the way back, take another load.
I have a terrible idea, but I'll proffer it anyway.
Okay.
You all expressed concern that this would be shared in XP with all of our retainers, and we already know that we can't take a meaningful enough amount back right now. There's not a. Is there any value? I'm just throwing it out there. It's meaningful, but I'm just throwing it out there. Is there any value in that being a consideration on whether we take this or stow it for now and come back without our retainers to split that XP? Because the value we would get out of all just the 4 of us doing multiple trips is higher than if we bring them to help us carry larger amounts out and then they split it all. So I think it's if we can secure it with any confidence, I think it's a much more valuable thing to just be the 4 of us taking it back and forth on these trips.
He's not.
It'll yield much more out of our experience, out of everything.
Mike, how much of this you're pushing on this is because you want Atticus to level? Which is legit, but
not that much, dude. He's already leveled, so literally one trip back and he's gonna level it.
You don't even need to take if you just want Atticus to level, you can go back out and camp. There's a danger, of course, it's not safe, but if you want,
here's my thing though, and I get that, but here's my thing, like. Yes, this treasure has remained undisturbed for millennia. Sure, got it. Okay, but the whole point of this adventure is for us to get rich. We are standing in front of said riches. In what motivation would we possibly have to be like, oh, look, we found a shit ton of money. Let's leave it. It just doesn't make sense to me as Mike. It doesn't make sense to my PC, who is just here for the money. That's all he's here for, Like this is the reason we're here. Is this hall right here?
I thought we were friends.
Well, sure.
I agree. But again, we already. I'll phrase it a different way. we've spent a good bit of time already trying to manage the logistics of something that won't work out very easily, and with which we will get the worst possible outcome by using all of our retainers.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
So as a meta decision, again, you don't have to agree with me, but as a meta decision, getting to the adventure, stowing, playing the game, figuring that out, and maximizing our XP, or as a character decision, me greedily not wanting to share it with these 4 other strangers who I'd met a week ago. You know what I mean? Like, these aren't months that we've known these people. We've known them for like 10 days, right? Like, I think there's a lot of cause to say, like, get more money, get more XP, get to adventure.
We've only known each other for a month.
No, I know. Well,
right?
I'll kill all of you right now. If
so here's my
brain
thing
full
about
of spiders,
that, right?
and I'll take the loot.
Can we calculate? Can we calculate how much we can get back to the inn in this walk? Because remember, as John said, we are only 350 feet from the walls of Arden Vul, and we are only like, I don't know, like not that far away from the inn, like an hour. We could go make 2 hauls today.
There's another thing that we can't, disregard. Not just random encounters along the way. We're going to be a bright, shiny target loaded down with stuff, right?
And we have not 100% secured loot in an inn room with 2 guards that we know may not be secure the more we bring there, which means it all gets fucking stolen anyway, right? Like, there's just, like, this is more secure than the inn room. I'll put it that way. This hidden stash is less likely to get robbed than all of our guards getting killed while we're dungeoneering with $100,000 worth of loot in an inn room with a easily breakable down door, right?
Well,
like,
that's true.
There's no reason we wouldn't just leave it here and go, holy fucking shit, we got to come back to this, right? Like, this is my retirement savings, et cetera, et cetera.
I will say,
that
slot for slot, we should take the jewelry.
100%.
That is, 24,000 gold pieces worth of jewelry in 4 slots.
Right. Totally.
Take the jewelry. Keep going.
All right,
because
we can keep going. We can leave the money here. I'm going to say for the record that this is a huge mistake.
All right. Well,
this is a huge mistake.
I hear
this
you.
is why we're here. This is why we're here. Like any normal archaeologists, explorers, Indiana Jones, whatever, would get to this and be like, we fucking found it. Let's go get donkeys and let's go back to Gosterwick and be drunk for 2 months. That's what would happen. But
we can do, by the way. This is a decision that we can make. But no. I think talking about it in the abstract is.
This sounds like a good thing for the detox. All right, everyone stay tuned for the detox afterwards, where Mike bitches about this for like 2 hours.
Mike, if it makes you feel any better, Mike, after this, we're gonna find out everything in the inn is also stolen, so we'll have neither. Does that make you feel better?
Here's
back up with our stacks of gold, and Wickham and all of his men are going to be there. And be like, "Oh, we're going to back away quietly."
But remember, though, the true value of that stuff clicks as soon as we get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the real value. So if it gets stolen, we're like, well, that really sucks. But we already get the XP for it.
That's the big thing.
Never having to work again is a pretty high value.
That would be nice, but. This,
guys, is a stronghold. This money is a stronghold.
Okay, but again, if that's our concern, let's pursue it, right? If this changes your priorities, again, this is like a detox convo, but it's also a play convo. Like if that changes your priorities intrinsically, that's something we discuss right now.
Well, no, because I also want to go explore tunnels.
Of course, I think it's just whether you want to adventure or do 37 trips back and forth to the inn, and possibly alert everyone in town, the competing adventurers, and anyone who might have ill will towards us because we're spending days on days bringing piles of gold into an unsecure inn room. Right.
Yeah,
this is why we needed another stash. I mean, I hate to say it, but fuck, this is why I was like, we gotta get another stash established quick, guys. We can't just use the inn, because this is the exact scenario where we're fucked because we don't have a better stash.
This is literally the problem with loot.
This is literally the problem. This is why I was saying stash was the highest priority, other than Garrett.
Okay. I do think we should save this for the detox. Let's stash our shit, take the jewelry, and go.
Okay, so only the jewelry is going?
Yeah.
Okay, no coins at all, correct?
No coins at all, which means that we don't have to use Laryl's sack. We still have our regular equipment, right?
Okay, so are you taking the jewelry, the 3 potions, and the box?
Leave the box.
We should
take the potions though. Those always seem to
Okay, so
come back.
that's 7 slots worth of items. Each. So you
Okay,
guys,
so
you need
there's 7 of us here.
Yeah.
4 players and 3 retainers. Everybody can take a thing.
Yeah, there's
Right?
there's 4 retainers actually. There's 8 of you.
Atticus, Codswallop,
Y'all
Yost.
and Yost.
Oh, Nyal. I forgot about Nyal. Sorry,
How
man.
dare you? How dare you?
And all right.
Okay, so I'm going to mark this as stashed for the coins.
I'm going to say that the arguing about what to do with everything, the count, it was a thing. Like your characters definitely would have been talking about it,
Totally fair.
yeah.
Totally fair. I love that.
and then deciding to like not take the coins after having already taken them out to count them and then putting them back in. I'm going to say like another 2 turns goes by before you have actually decided to leave the room.
It's almost time to sleep now. What time does that put us at, John?
It's not that late. You're at 1:20 right now.
Okay.
But dice had to be rolled, so go fuck yourself.
What did I do?
Yeah, I mean,
How dare you, man?
All right.
Hilarious.
Okay. Boy, I did not expect my loot log to instantly
That
be
was
filled
wild.
up with this much value.
That's wild. I mean, I will say for all the back and forth, great job, Mike, on finding that. And I'm sorry if we lose.
Not as sorry as I'm going to be.
All right, so everybody's going to mark down a piece of jewelry on their.
Yep.
Okay,
Nyal, Av was full, so Nyal will take 2.
All right, so
lot
as
of
you
it,
guys
right?
you're draping the jewels over you, stowing the potions, putting all the henchmen are putting all of the coins back into the vault. Now that all is happening on basically in the southeastern part of this 50-foot square chamber. As you are doing that, you can hear in the far northwestern side of the chamber, you can hear what sounds to be like a low wind, just like a coming from there. And there definitely wasn't much of a draft in the area.
Okay, so this is a new thing, which means an egress is opened. It sounds like by someone. Is that fair to guess?
Or there's a windy guy here to kill us.
Hold on. So the stone vault was in the southeast corner, you said, right?
Mm-hmm, yep,
On the south wall or the east wall?
the east wall, and you hear like a low moaning wind coming from the north, like all the way across 50 feet away. Beyond your lantern light, you can hear what sounds to be like a low moaning wind coming from, which you
that's
assume
something like that.
was from the hole, which is also in the northwestern side.
That's okay.
Okay. Gotcha. Well,
You see that as you sort of turn around, you can see that the edge of your lantern light, which is relatively stable because it's like oil, right? Not a torch. The edge of that light appears to shimmer a little bit, like the darkness sort of moves a little bit at the edges. And then in that area in the northwest, that darkness starts to encroach back upon you and then detach from the greater darkness as 4 dark shapes slither across the ground and then actually rise up, forming 3-dimensional shadows that
Hey, John,
lunge
can I ask a
towards you.
question before this starts?
Yes.
Did we successfully stow the loot back in this compartment before this happened?
Yes, is at the end of your stashing.
Okay,
Like
just
you're
making-
basically like you're like in the midst of like closing the stone cube, and you have like this massive jewelry. Like, well, one of you has like the big ass brooch, and one of you has like the huge collar, and one of you has a necklace. So you actually there's like 3 things like draped around you, and then when you notice this these things pull away.
Matt,
TPK, baby. TPK, you ready?
Matt, get out there with your holy symbol, bro.
I will try. I don't know if do they seem kind of deadish? I mean, they
They seem pretty
moaned.
dead to me,
It doesn't
Matt.
look anything natural to you. You can see like through them, but it's like darkness, right? Like they're literally like living shadows that have risen up off the ground and vaguely humanoid forms with like tendrils of smoky shadow like reaching towards you at the same time.
John,
Well, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'll try it.
They are
Yeah, I would
30
like
feet
to-
away.
I would like to hold up my holy symbol and ask these guys politely to get the fuck out.
I'm sure you would. So let's roll for initiative, shall we?
No.
Sorry, John. One question. These
one.
do not resemble what killed Osric, do they?
No, they did
Okay,
not.
good.
Oh, poor Osric. He would have loved 85,000 gold pieces.
What killed Osric actually had like a shape, like you could actually make out what kind of person it was. These,
Yeah, I thought so.
These are much
I
more
rolled a
amorphous.
3.
You win.
Yeah,
They are coming towards all of you. I will be rolling at random unless you meet them. Anyone? So I'm sorry. What? So we have one spell casting of Turn Undead. Any other spell casting going on?
I'm scrambling to read improved phantasmal force real quick. Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, spiders probably don't have brains, or shadows probably don't have brains.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to affect them much, but I can create a scene, so I just wanted to see what the stipulations on that were. Okay. Real quick for the audience, either changing the appearance of the affected area or creating an appearance of something new. The scene disappears if touched. 20-foot cubed area. Stipulations are concentration. Even when concentration's broke, it persists for 2 rounds after. That's it, basically. Okay. I don't think it's useful in this situation, but good to know.
Probably not.
No spells. Okay.
No spells.
Movement. What are you doing?
I think doesn't Matt's turning count as a spell? Matt's
Does
turning
does
counts as a
turning?
spell.
Yeah, count.
Yeah, it's a spell, but it's but that's later
But
in the
I-
round. So movement first. Who's going?
I'm going to move up to them and attack.
Okay.
I should try to do my turning first, just to see if they do
You
it.
can't.
So,
Spells happen later in the round.
oh, okay, then I won't do that. But if I can I move ahead of time?
Oh, I'm sorry. So movement happens first. So Goran's going to move up. He doesn't attack first. Your turn would go first. Is anyone else moving into combat with him, or moving away, or moving generally?
I just want to move so that if my turning does shoo them away, that it shoos them into the corner away from the hole that we want to go into and the ladder.
So
I don't think I want to go in the hole anymore.
You cannot move ever. Seal's turning takes all of your actions for the round. So you must stand
Then I
where
will
you are.
think about doing that and stand where I am.
Okay.
I will move to the back of the formation. That's what I will be doing.
Okay.
Yost and Mort both have magic weapons, so we will move up to support Goran.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other henchmen?
Niall will stand in front of me and protect me.
Atticus?
Atticus is basically going to be hiding behind David.
Okay.
God's Wallop's going to hide behind that.
Is this like a competition for who's behind who? Because I'm going to be like, no, Atticus, get out of my way.
Any missile weapons?
God's Wallop is going to get out his short bow, although I don't think it's going to do anything.
John, actually, does a magic wand count as a missile weapon or a spell when we're declaring? FYI.
I would call it a missile.
Okay.
So if no one had a missile weapon out, right? So is anyone pulling out a missile weapon?
Yeah, that's what God's Wallop's going to do.
Okay. So now turn on
Speaking
deck.
of missile weapons, David, what did you do with those 2 arrows we found in the sarcophagus?
Storage, presumably.
Okay.
I can't remember, to be honest. I stored most of that stuff.
Okay. Let's
Yes,
keep it up. Let's keep it up. We got turn on dead.
You don't have them. It's
Go.
fine.
Right.
Oh,
So
Matt,
that's
go.
2d6, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go, baby. Let's roll high. 6.
Mediocre.
Okay. So as you you hold forth your holy symbol, but it appears to have no effect on these creatures as they continue to move forward.
Does it feel like it was just didn't have enough oomph, or does it seem like these things are not dead?
Difficult to tell. They did not seem to react to it at all.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't like jerk back and then continue forward. They just kind of moved. They kept moving towards you as if nothing had happened.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Those in melee.
Can he activate the ring and boost up Yost, or is that an action?
That's an action.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it, but
I can do that and cast my spell?
Everisios? No. Sorry. Yeah. Turn Undead is spell is like the only thing you can do, and Turn Undead
Yeah,
counts.
that's what I was
Okay.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about it next round.
Melee.
Okay, go ahead. Who wants to go first?
Yost will point out his spear, and he will thrust it into the very heart of this, the heart of darkness here. And I've lost the stupid piece of paper with his combat stats on it. Give me just a moment. The magic spear, you said they were vaguely humanoid, right?
Vaguely, yeah.
Does that count enough for the purposes of the Black Iron Spear?
You don't know.
Oh, fair enough. All right. I will roll a d20 and we'll see what happens.
Their AC is 12.
Well, I think a 19 is pretty good for that
hits.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. And sorry, turns out the paper character sheet is only as good as finding the piece of paper that has the information you want.
Have a D8.
I came prepared, everybody.
Yeah, no.
You guys have sheets of paper. I have over 1,000-page tome.
I'm
What's your excuse?
I'm so sorry.
It's a D8. Roll a D8.
Well, no, it's not. I think because he. Okay, fine. I think it's actually higher than that because he leveled up. I think he's a
Yost?
D10, is it? Yeah.
It's a D10.
Three plus his strength bonus. Plus, it's either a +1 or a +2 from the Black Iron Sphere if they're sufficiently humanoid. So, not a lot of damage. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7, is that the +1 or +2?
That's the +1.
Okay, so it does 7 points of damage. The spear does seem to pierce the incorporeal form itself as it seems to meet resistance, strangely enough, and the thing actually jerks back and lets out a low, windy moan. But tries to basically crawl up, like you can see, like its tendrils sort of like grab the Black Iron Spear, and it sort of shunts itself up the spear and reaches towards Yost, whose eyes go wide in horror.
Okay.
Next.
I was wrong. It's not actually a D8, a D10. It is a D8. Mike was right. I haven't bumped up yet. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
You want me to reroll?
No, let's go move to the next person. Who's next?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to attack the same one Yost just attacked.
Okay. 19 on the die. That's a hit.
Nice.
At the 20.
Sweet.
10 points.
10 points. What are you using?
I'm using my +1 spear, clave him.
Okay. As you come in from the side with your spear, it dissipates into like a poof of smoke, just like poof, and dissipates away.
I
And,
give Yost a high five.
yeah, Yost is like, oh,
Nice.
thank you. And his like spear like clangs to the ground.
All right. Mort will sneak in with the pin. Whoa, that's 3 19s in a row. That's kind of weird.
Crazy.
I'll take it.
Yeah. And he does a D8 plus. Is that a 6?
That's a six.
Yeah.
Plus 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 points.
10 points. On
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait, the dagger is plus 3. You got a +2 from strength. So that's 11. Yep. 11.
11 points. Who is this? Mort?
Mort.
Okay, Mort, you leap forward as well, and driving the dagger home. It also dissipates in a puff of black mist.
Nice.
Sweet.
Well done.
Anyone else in melee?
Okay.
No.
No one else is in melee?
Cosmo, I'm trying to pull out a bow.
Okay.
Nyal had pulled back to protect in case one of them pulls up.
Okay. It is their turn. There are 2 left. They are neither of them are engaged, so they are free roaming, and they are going.
I thought there were only 3. Were there 4?
There's 4.
There were 4.
Yeah, I thought there were 3 too.
And there are 8 of you. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
Oh, I'm not in melee.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So let's see. That's going to be who did I say? Yost, and then Njal. So we'll say Leda was actually reaching for Avaricios, and Njal steps up to take the brunt of the attack as he bears the Ruiner of Appetites, and we have. That's definitely going to be a miss, I believe. It's going to be only an 11. It's not going to do it.
That does not hit him.
The other one is going to attack. It reaches for Onweir. Who was standing in front of Onweir? Atticus?
The thief, I thought. Atticus, yeah.
Atticus is going to be attacked.
What? He was hiding behind Ogwheel.
I said no to that.
What is Atticus's AC?
Atticus's armor class is 13, John.
Oh, it misses him. All right, so they both dodge out of the way. You can a cold breath, like something cold, like gets really close to Atticus's face as the mist sort of misses him just barely. Top of the round, is there any spellcasting going to go on or any retreating from melee?
I want to participate, but I think I'm going to save my spells for now. If y'all are extinguishing them pretty easily,
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty well with weapons.
Okay.
Any retreats?
No.
Okay.
Atticus is going to move away from him, John.
Just hold on. We're just doing the declarations. We're going to do initiative. 4 point. 4 points. 4.
He's rolling.
5. You guys win. Okay. Now moves.
Well done.
Moves.
Okay. Atticus moves as far away from it as he possibly can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm retreating away from the one that's attacking us as well. So
You guys can both get close to the ladder if that's where you want to be.
that's where I'll go.
Okay. Anyone else moving?
Avaricios is also going to take a step back so that he can draw his weapon.
Okay. Anyone else? Moves.
I'm attacking.
Okay. Missile weapons. I think Codswell has a bow out.
He does.
All right.
You want to do that first? Yeah, I guess we do.
What kind of weapon is it?
It is a short bow and a short bow. Yeah, short bow. He's probably not going to hit, but let's just find out. 16 plus nothing. 16.
Okay. So he fires. It goes directly through the thing, and like a little poof of smoke goes out the back, and the thing continues forward unharmed.
I figured.
Mark off an arrow.
Codswell craps himself at that point.
Okay, melees, go.
Go ahead, Yost.
Yost, the black iron spear, my mighty muscles lift it and I stop it into a bad thing. So that is...
It's AC 12, so you hit. I'm telegraphing
okay.
ACs, yeah.
All right. Okay, so D8 plus... Nice 6 plus 4 damage, so 10 points.
10. All right. Yost rams the spear in again. It basically almost dissipates entirely, but basically it's like head continues forward, gaping towards Yost. He was like,
He doesn't like that at all.
Not again.
Nah.
Next.
I'll go ahead and attack.
Mike, do you want it?
Yeah, I'll try
go
and
ahead.
clean up the one on Yost.
Do it. Oh.
You stumble on your way over and can't quite come to Yost's rescue. He's like, little man, where are you? Quick.
So Mort will leap in. Mort will take up the slack.
Oh,
16. Mort leaps in and does 3 plus 6, 7, 8. 8 points.
Excellent.
Finishing it off. Okay?
You finish it off, and Yost was like, "Yes, I meant you, little man.
That's right.
Thank you so much."
Yeah.
All right. So the one that's left, I think, is probably the one that took its swing at Njal. So he's going to swing back
Return the favor.
with the Ruiner and try to ruin its appetite.
Okay. Oh, a palpable hit.
Nice.
17 on the dice. He's got a +5 to hit, so that's
AC is 12. You hit.
Well done.
And D10 damage. That is 4 plus 3, so 7 points total
7 points.
of damage.
Okay, so he hacks into the thing. It continues to move forward, although it has to sort of sidestep around. Continues to come. All right, that was the end of the round. No one else is attacking, right? Okay, top of the round. Melee movement spells? No?
Wait, it didn't
They
attack. this
they
time.
did.
Oh, they didn't attack, yeah.
Yeah, your guys get a turn.
I always
John.
short shrift myself. Okay, so that is, I think that's a one-on-one with Njal, so here we go. What's Njal's AC?
Yeah.
Njal's AC is 14.
14, here we go. Oh, just barely missed with 11 on the die. That's just barely sidesteps it, puts up his shield. It doesn't have
I'm
a shield.
okay
actually,
with
right? That's
that.
a battle axe, yeah. Okay, top of the round, I assume no movement, no spells, right?
No, let's just clean it up.
Okay.
Although I do, Avaricios did take out his mace last time, so he will.
I think Matt
Attack
can
if
roll
it's
this initiative because it's Nial's, man.
Okay.
Okay,
I
I'll do it.
got a 3.
I got a 1.
Ooh, Nyal's
Okay.
gonna die.
It continues to press the attack against Nyal. Yeah. Missed again. God, I'm
Amazing.
not doing any good. All right.
Amazing.
All right. Yeah. Niall's going to chop this
Now
thing's head off.
bobs
Here we
and
go.
weaves, and he's
On.
like,
Huzzah!
17 again on the
nice.
dice.
Was this Nyal or Avaricios?
Yeah.
That was Niall.
Okay.
Well done.
Avaricious.
Well done.
Yeah, he'll do it if he needs to, but
Rather have it. That's what you got retainers for, man. All right.
Oh, that's a 1 on the D10, but a total of 4.
4 is
4 points.
exactly what you needed as the last one.
Yay!
Dissipation. The sense of cold that was in the midst of the room there, in the midst of your lantern light, slowly fades away until it becomes the musty, dank warmth of the normal chamber.
As he cuts into the thing, he looks at it and says, "Tell me, do you bleed?" And then he looks at his axe.
Yeah,
Does
that's
it bleed?
a good question. Strangely enough, that it was still the blood of the lizard that remains on the ruiner.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess that's a no.
Can we take this opportunity to go tuck in kids and get more beer?
Yes, absolutely. We will be.
I guess I got to get more kids.
We'll be right back after this break. Okay, we have returned from our break. And okay, so they got the necklaces and all the jewelry draped around them. They have defeated those strange, misty, incorporeal creatures. And
You can take shadows. It's okay.
And you are beating ass out of here, right?
Beating our ass down the tunnel, man. Let's go.
Yeah, that's the compromise we came up with. Is we're gonna take the jewelry, leave the coins, keep delving.
Oh, you're continuing to delve. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to cash in all the jewelry. Okay, great.
No, man. A short life and a merry one. Let's go.
I love the way John tempts us. I'm sure you honestly forgot that, but
I did.
I like thinking you're just tempting
John
us.
is tip. I don't know if this is a GM tip we should offer people, but John's very good at baiting us. It takes years of friendship.
You do whatever you want to do.
Friendship to be this
It's
good
a low
at baiting
bar,
people.
though. It's a very
All
low
it
bar.
is just presenting all of your options because you may not be aware.
Sure,
of it.
that's what it is, John. All right. Uh-huh.
John's like, there's a squirrel, but
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying, sometimes as you just admitted, sometimes our Vul can be a little bit overwhelming. So I just want to remind you that you may have forgotten certain things. Okay, moving
go down
over
in the hole of death.
Moving over to Owlbear, where we've got this extremely detailed and complex map going on here.
Nice job, Jed.
Yeah.
Jed, you are doing a bang-up job on this.
Yeah.
Really,
So,
really, really good.
Hey,
So-
John, can I do a really dumb thing? I'm going to do the one last bit and ask if it's possible to have retroactively made sure there wasn't a second compartment hidden at the back of the first when we
it'll
unlocked
take a turn.
all that gear. Would you guys want me to look? Because everyone loves a second hidden compartment inside of first, or would you want to do it later?
And you also have this uncanny ability to find crap like that.
Yeah,
so
and
That's the
please do.
reason I'm
And-
asking, because
And 85,000 gold isn't enough for onward. Maybe there's more.
Let's do this next time, David. Let's do this when we get our
Okay,
shit out of
let's
there.
do it next time. I agree. Okay, moving on.
All right, moving on.
I have my protractor ready that you asked for.
Yes, yes,
That's
indeed.
how we're doing this.
I love it. Okay, so you're moving towards the northwestern side of this 50-foot large room, directly towards where you saw those things detach from the shadows. But the coldness does not appear to be there, and there is appears to be no evidence of those things having ever existed. Was it all a dream? Who knows? Anyways, yes. So once again, to be clear, there is a hole not in the wall, but in the floor.
The floor.
Yeah, and it's about like 10 feet out from like the northwestern corner. It is rough as if something had come out from the floor itself, but peering in with your lantern, and that is, who's that carrying that? Atticus. Yeah, Atticus is carrying the lantern. Yeah, it is a 3-foot wide opening, and then it slopes down into the northwest, and so you can basically shimmy down there. But once you're sort of in the hole itself, it's only about 4 feet tall, and so it's 3 feet wide. So we're talking about extremely cramped. There is no possible way to actually wield anything but like a thrusting weapon forward. Right? You can't take like swings. Right? It's impossible.
That's all right.
And you definitely have to go like one by one. There is no and it's impossible basically to backtrack.
Okay.
This is what we call
I
a
know
red
this is
flag.
crazy. Mort will go first because he's got shield and a one-handed weapon. Unless Goran feels that his spear is the right thing to be in front.
I'm
Well,
happy.
actually, we have
Is there
like
any?
there are like
Go ahead.
3 people with thrusting weapons, so we're
Yeah.
That's pretty
that are
good.
4 feet tall or less.
well, okay. But well,
This is
2
why
then.
Mort's proposing.
Can I ask 2 questions? Oh,
Yeah.
did I cut you off, Ted? Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Is there any value in having the scout have a rope around their waist and go a little further and report back rather than all of us inchworm through at the same time on the first go? And 2, is there any value in like classically throwing a stone and seeing how far it echoes, or doing anything to just get a spatial sense of whether it is very long or if it falls? Go ahead.
One of the advantages of having Ted and I go ahead is that we both have infravision, so we should be able to see that ahead of time. I'm 100% down with us tying a guide rope to each other.
Yeah, you want to give like a 20-30 foot head start.
I wouldn't mind if Yost perhaps took the flank in case someone comes behind us. Someone strong in the back, someone strong in the forward.
Or someone Niall's armor class is higher, right? Like I don't know.
Then
Whoever's
Niall
got
makes
the high,
sense.
whoever's got the
Everyone's
higher
armor class
AC.
is higher than Yost.
Cool. Let's do it.
So who's in front? Give me the marching order.
I'll go first, followed by Mort.
Okay.
I can always pick them up and throw them at things.
Mm-hmm.
And
Great. Thank you.
and then there's about a 20-foot lag between us, John.
Uh-huh.
And then I think at that point it's going to be what? Avaricios.
Atticus. He's got the lantern.
Atticus, Avaricios, David, Yost, and
Y'all.
y'all.
Yeah.
Codswallop, I guess I'll have him right behind Mort just so that because he's also short and has infravision. So
And he's stealthy too, right?
Hold on.
and he's,
This is all jacked up now.
Ted, how you monster?
I know it's callous disregard for the feelings of the GM.
I have Goran and Mort are using infravision, so you're okay with Atticus with the lantern being 20 feet back. That's deliberate.
Yeah.
Okay, so Atticus isn't in the front of the main party. Then is that right?
That's what I'm proposing. It doesn't have to be that way. But I'm also
I
proposing.
personally think Yost
Actually-
should be in front of him.
If he's kind of in the middle, that's good
Fine.
because that way the guy in the back can see behind him if anything comes up. We can see just far enough.
Okay, so give me the orders without Goran and Mort.
So right behind Mort is Codswallop, then
Okay.
the break, then Yost,
Okay, Yost up front. Okay,
then Av, then Atticus, then Onweir, then Niall.
Correct.
Yeah, that sounds good.
got it. And y'all in the back. All right, cool.
So was that 8?
Yeah. Yeah, so there's only a little bit. No, that's probably about 15 feet of light. in front of Yost.
Sleepy,
That's good.
dopey,
Yeah.
bashful.
Okay,
Right.
so the short guys are up front. Got it. All right, cool. All right, so Goran, Mort, and Codswallop are the first to go down there. Goran, you have to stoop a little bit, and you guys are using your infravision. You are only seeing like basically the vague shifting colors of the gray stone as you move down into these winding tunnels. All right, so Ted and I discussed this in advance. The way that we're going to do this, because these are tunnels and caverns and such like that. So they're winding and natural rather than like strict angles. So this takes on a whole other dimension of mapping. And we're going to do our best to convey this. We decided the best way to do it is actually to give relative angles to 90 degrees. So if 90 degrees is north and south and 0 degrees is east and west, we'll just do it relative to that in addition to giving the cardinal directions. So it wends away northwest, Ted, about 80 degrees northwest. So north by northwest. There you go. And it goes for, it starts to slope down almost immediately after about 50 feet. It slopes down and starts to widen up, okay? To the point where after about 50 feet, everyone can stand comfortably. The tunnels themselves, the tunnel itself sorts, depending on where you are in the tunnel, is about 8 to 12 feet wide, depending. So on the map itself, it's actually fairly narrow. And they are about 9 to 12 feet tall. So it's only, so there's like that gradual slope down, and it's like a little bit tight, and then it just opens up into this massive, wide and tall tunnel, right? There does not appear to be any, there's debris on the ground of rock scree and stuff like that, but there doesn't appear to be any signs of habitation down here. And it generally just smells sort of musty and dank. You don't see any indication of any sort of growth, like there doesn't appear to be any lichen or moss or fungi of any sort.
No writing or markings on the wall of any sort.
Mm-mm. You just hear your voices echo. Your breath echoes as well. It's relatively temperate, and you can hear just like a plink plink of water every once in a while, just sort of echoing. And you can hear like rocks or like, and it makes your heads turn, like because it's so quiet. Every shift of your feet of like all 8 of you, echoes the rock scree around. You know what I mean? Like it's just very, very extra loud. All right, so it goes on for about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So about 200 feet.
Does that include the first 50?
Including the first 50, yeah. So about 200 feet, and at that point, it ends about 90 degrees direct north, at which point the cavern branches. Both.
Okay, wait. Hold on. So is it continuing so it goes 200 feet in generally that same direction? Doesn't really change.
Yeah, but it winds its way right in a vaguely northwesterly direction. But by the end of the 200 feet, it sort of curves back until it's like basically hitting right at direct north, like 90 degrees.
Like direct north of what?
I don't know what you mean.
Like it's going direct. Like so, when you said it left that 50-foot square at sort of northwest, and it goes straight that way, then it turns and it's heading straight north at some point. Is that what you're saying?
Just by the end, it does. Like it's all very vague. You're never going to get it perfectly right because
fine.
Yeah, so you're just
so
drawing
something like this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah. Okay.
A little wider because it widened up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, and you can draw like a little corridor. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's 12 feet wide, but you know what I mean? So it's, it does actually make it. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's just scale.
Yeah. Anyways, so at that point, it actually opens up. So it actually comes to an end, but the passage, the tunnels continue. One goes towards the northwest, and one continues directly east. So one is basically going at 0 degrees, and the other one is going at basically like a 45-degree angle towards the northwest, off into the darkness.
Like so?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I highly recommend, Ted, that you can widen those a little bit, like that just looks like a line. You know what I mean? Like you are actually able to, like, you know what I mean? It's like it's like 1/5.
I'm zoomed way in on it, I guess, because at the scale I'm looking at, it is a wide.
It's basically like it would be like 1/5 the width of like the square, right? That's what you want to look at.
John, I have a question while we're fine tuning this. The cardinal directions that we're using within the dungeon, within the mapping, does that correspond to the cardinal directions above ground as well?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
north is north. Yeah.
We know that the ruins are east.
Yes.
Because we came west.
That's
right?
correct. Mm-hmm.
So if we're looking for the places that we've been, that's east.
Right. Yes. So what I'm going to do here is you guys are moving at 90. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to round that up to you're actually moving 100 because that makes it easy for the squares, because that means that every 2 squares that you move, it's 1 turn. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've moved 5. So what is that? So that's so that's going to be 4 turns. 1, 2, 4. Yeah. Okay. So it is now 2 p.m. A little bit after 2.
I like Matt's point about. Well, I presume you're saying then, Matt, is we should go east, which I think is accurate.
Right. Well, I mean, it's hard to tell. We're after Gerlad's secrets. We don't know if those are farther west or whatever, but at least east we know is going to hopefully connect. Right.
Yeah.
It's an obvious.
John, I think it's worth saying too, when we come to an intersection like this, us advanced party waits for the rest of the party to catch up so we can have the discussion, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And while we're waiting, we can listen, I guess.
And be aware that this
Look
whole
for
northern
clues.
passageway for about 200 feet, like sloped down gradually, right? And then when you're at this intersection, going northwest and east, it appears to be level in either direction.
Could we get a sense of how far we slope down?
Yeah, you get. Let's see. I'd say it's probably about 20 feet or so.
John, I would like to reach into the bag and pull out a piece of chalk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to mark an arrow pointing not back the way that we came, but towards that northwest area.
The northwest passage. Okay.
So we need to know, remember everybody, don't follow the arrow, go the other way. When there's an arrow, go the other way. So if anybody else is using it, they'll
go that way. That's a very smart.
That's a very cleric of Lycion move right there.
Very good idea.
Deception. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so you're heading east, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it heads east for about another 100 feet as you slowly move your way through the tunnels, which takes another turn.
Sorry, John. Is that
Directly, if I say directly east, it means 0 degrees.
right? I'm just gonna. Never mind. I was gonna ask a very silly question and forget it.
Okay. So then, at about so it starts to wend down for another 15 feet for about at a 15-degree angle to the southeast, and then it starts to curve gently towards the south for another 100 feet at about a 45-degree angle to the southeast.
To the south. 100 feet, you said?
Yeah.
down in there.
Somewhere like that.
Yep. And another turn goes by.
Yep.
Hold on one moment. Okay. And then it levels out and it goes for another 100 feet directly to the east. And then you can see at that point, it's heading, let's see, southeast at about a 30-degree angle. And at that point, it actually starts to gently climb its way upward. And there doesn't.
Wait, hold on. So from this point here, it now is going 30 degrees south.
Southeast, yeah. Mm-hmm. And at that exact point, it starts to slowly crawl its way upward. It's a little bit of a strain on your calves. And there doesn't
take another 100 feet.
Hmm?
Another 100 feet.
You haven't moved yet. I'm counting right now. Hold on. Because remember, like every square, your lantern light doesn't even go to the end of the square, right? So
Right.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for let's see, 8 times 5 is 400 feet.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, you slowly crawl upwards, and that's going to be 4 turns.
So 400 feet. Or
Yeah.
no? Yep.
Wow.
Okay. 1, 2, 3,
Mhm.
4.
So
I should
that
hope you picked the right tunnel, guys.
that would have us under the ruins.
Okay. At that point, you come to another crossroads. It continues to go in that direction. Okay, but also there is a sharp turn, natural once again, that actually goes towards the northeast, and that's at a 45-degree angle to the northeast. So it continues onward, but then you can also just immediately like do a hairpin 45 degrees to the northeast if you like.
Like that.
I think
Mm-hmm.
doesn't it go back this way? Oh, northeast. I'm sorry. You said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Are we going to keep going this way, or do we want to take? Oh, John, is there any change in slope in the branch off tunnel?
Yes, actually, right at that intersection, it sort of levels out. You can see that
Both
when
of
you
them.
peer your lantern towards the northeast to kind of investigate what's down there. You can see that it starts to slope down there as well. It continues levelly, however, to the southeast.
So level to the south. I kind of like that northeast one myself.
Sure.
Okay.
We're not seeing any kind of tracks, John. Is there any like rough refuse in the tunnels, shit, discarded equipment, anything like that?
No. Well, okay, so not shit. So you don't see anything organic. However, when you do take the time to look, Goran, when you're checking it out, you do see that there's something has moved through here. Like you can kind of see that the debris that has collected is, and it's hard to detect. It's only because you mentioned it, Goran, that the some of the debris has been sort of mounded a little bit to either side, as if like there's been foot traffic here that's sort of kicked it to the side after many trips, sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Are there any footprints in the dust, or is there any dust, anything like that?
There's dust. I mean, there's like stone dust, that sort of thing, but it's not like a big poof of dust or anything like that.
Right.
It's very like stone here. You can as Goran sort of like relays this information to, and you all like kind of turn up the awareness just a little bit. There's like a faint whiff of like something moldy or maybe body odor, maybe, or putrescent. Like it's very, very faint, just a little hint of something a little bit like towards the southeast. I'm sorry,
John.
John.
So sorry. Let me just ask one thing. With my background as a farmer, does this smell like mushrooms and fungus?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, you would probably be able to tell that.
Does it smell like moss and damp?
No. There is a little bit of dankness, but it's like the dankness of stone that you've always been smelling, but not moss.
Okay.
Mike?
I would like to just take a minute when I come across one of the larger piles of like refuse. I just want to poke through it, John, like, and see if I can determine if it's like adventuring gear or Narcantian garbage. Oh, I thought you said there was like detritus that had been pushed off to the side.
I meant like stone, like stone stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's scree on the ground, just natural stuff. You know what I mean? And a lot of it's just
been shunted off to the side.
Exactly.
John,
yeah.
One last question, John.
Mm-hmm.
We asked about footprints. Is there any sort of serpentine pattern to the way that this detritus is pushed, as if it's been like rhythmically pushed? Is there an evenness that might indicate?
It's a good question.
A slithering thing.
It's impossible to tell. Like it was only Goran, like really paying attention, that even can notice that there was that the scree was not even. You know what I mean? Like evenly placed. Yeah,
it's good to know. Yeah, thank you.
Are we seeing sort of any kind of scoring on the walls?
No.
Or wear patterns on the walls?
Nope.
Okay.
All looks natural. Yeah.
One other point of clarification: that's pushing stuff to the side, an indication of traffic. Is that the same in both paths?
Both, yeah.
Or both sides of the branch?
Yeah,
okay.
generally,
so people
yes.
go. Okay.
Yeah. And I know I pointed out, but I just want to make it very, very clear. We are not talking about like a path down the middle of the thing. It's just the slight movement of stones. Like it's something that like the dwarf was really like, no, look. And you're like, what are you talking about? And Goran's like, no, look. You know what I mean?
There are rocks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So assuming that we've got, which is a big if, this map is, roughly accurate. And what we know about the location of the gladiatorial school, I think Matt's right. We're probably under the city at this point. And if we continue to go southeast, we're going to be approaching, like basically we're going to have to either come up somewhere or go under the river and under the lake. And right now we're maybe, 50 feet underground. I think if we go northeast, we're less likely to hit the lake than if we go southeast. That's all I'm saying.
I'm liking northeast.
Sure.
I just like it. I don't know why.
I just like it.
I'm fine with it. I trust your instincts. Let's go.
Likewise.
So I make an arrow pointing the other way.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay, so you risen up as far as you can go, and then you start to slowly go back down. So let me get out my protractor. So going, I'd say it's probably more like a 50-degree angle, or if it really matters, Ted. But you go, it does a broad curve that starts going to the northeast and then rounds out to the northwest for, let's see, 150, 200, for about 250 feet.
Wait.
Just hold on. Just hold on. 50, and then Yeah, about 50. Okay, so it does a brow for the length of about 250 feet, so about 5 foot square, Ted. Okay, it does like a 50-foot curve to the northeast, and then rounds like a bow to become like a 50-degree angle to the northwest. The total amount which is 250 feet. Okay, there you go, Ted.
Felt
Really
like
nice,
that?
nicely done. Yep. And it slopes downward the entire time for about, and it goes right back down to like for 20 feet, like the amount of slope, right? Back down again.
John, while we're doing this, we've come pretty far. How are we doing on time? What kind of time is it?
That was 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's another 2 turns, and rolling some dice. Don't sweat it.
Every time I ask what time it is, we get punished. I'm not going to ask anymore.
It is.
Was that what you said last time?
It's 3:40 right now in the afternoon. Okay.
It's like when we're on a road trip and my kids ask me if they're there yet, and I make them turn off their screens.
At this point, you hit another crossroads. It continues on at about a 35-degree angle to the northwest, but also juts directly. It goes directly east at 0 degrees for about 30 feet before you can see that it starts to open up into something larger.
Like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, east smells good.
Does it smell good? What does it smell like?
Good question.
It smells large.
What is the smell of large? I don't understand.
The smell has not changed, so you still have the smell of dank stone.
Okay.
It looks like beyond that 30 feet, the edge of your lantern light, that it immediately juts up and opens wide after about 50 feet to the northeast at a 35-degree angle.
Wait. So it goes 30 feet due east, and then what?
And then it goes at a 35-degree angle to the northeast and immediately opens up after 50 feet.
Opens up into a space?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just saying,
Okay.
like, this is sort of like what you're seeing with your lantern light.
Right. Yeah, let's go that way. All in favor? We're doing
All right. Moving up and again. Okay. This opens up into a vaguely triangular. Once again, this is all natural stone. So don't just make it up on your own head. But in general, there's a large crossroads here, right? And it opens up into a vast stone chamber with like stalactites draping down. And it's a triangular chamber that's it's about 100 feet at its base, which you're at right now, across. Right, so east to west, it's about 100 feet, and then sort of tapers up until it's only about 30 feet wide at the north. Okay, there are exits at every point of the triangle. All right, but just kind of leave it open, Ted, because you just want to kind of be in the room at this point. As you kind of move into this chamber, nicely done, Ted. As you sort of move into this chamber. And your voice is sort of, it's sort of like when the fellowship kind of moves into the large hall of the Mines of Mora, but it's like much more, stone, natural stone.
Right.
You gonna say something, David?
That's a very positive and promising.
It sounds like it's not a big deal yet, but I would just say, is it safe to say before we enter in a giant new chasm that we listen? We listen and we look and we don't walk under a bunch of bat creatures that are going to tear our throats out.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there. I don't want to interrupt your
Take a turn to listen.
Yes.
And do we see the glow? Do we see the glow of the Balrog?
Yeah. So with Goran, Morton, Codswell up in front, I will tell you if heat pops off, and you have so far seen none. There's slight variations in the heat from the air currents kind of running through here, but that's it. No body warmth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking a turn to listen.
Yes.
You can roll if you like.
Goblins love doing that. Does listening count as listening at doors?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're right at 4 p.m.
Oh, more
was basic.
Hear a thing over the sound
really
of
something.
You
Goran's.
screwed it up. What the dwarf is sneezing.
And Codswallop is right there too. So let's give Codswallop a shot at it. No, Goran is just like gassy. We can't hear a thing.
I mean, anyone can listen, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah, we just happen to have a slightly better shot at it.
Oh, shh, I got this.
Oh yeah,
No, I don't hear.
nailed it.
Did no one heard?
For the folks at home, we're screwing this
What?
up horribly.
What? Huh?
Oh, who's got the fancy elven dice? Okay. All right.
It's onward.
So you listen carefully, and all you can hear is just like your breath sort of echoing out into the chamber, right? Now, as do you hearing nothing? Do you move forward into the room or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we should try it.
Absolutely, we do. What do you think this is?
Okay. So you move forward into the chamber, then you're like Atticus is like, doing like a 360 degree, and he goes, "Master, look upon the wall behind you." And he shines it.
Oh, look.
Yeah. So you turn back around, Goran, looking over the goblin's shoulders, back towards the rest of the group, and you can see that Atticus is right up against the wall, to the right on the southern wall, right before it narrows back into the quarter you came out of. Right, like he turned back around, and is looking right at that opening, basically.
Like right there.
Yeah, and you can see that there is. Give me 1 second here. Let me find it. There is on the wall at right about like at eye level, there is a large painted red letter on that wall.
Is it an A?
Is it a W?
It's a G.
Keep going. You've got 23 more. You'll hit it eventually. It's a large red N.
The N is for knowledge.
Yeah, and he's got his lantern light right along it, and you can see that there's all the just dry stone, right? But you can see that when he's got his lantern light over it, that so there's like this red painted end, but it looks like it's actually like glistening in the lantern light, and that the stone around it is also sort of almost look like there's like a wet sheen like covers the N and all around it as well, and like basically like a rough amorphous like 2 foot, not a perfect circle or anything like that, but just like a wet sheet, like a splash or something like that. It's made that stone wet.
A mold or a jelly on the wall.
Is it moving?
Huh? It seems to shimmer a little bit as he kind of turns his lantern light around it, but you can't tell if it's moving or not. It's like it just looks like a wet splotch over top, but transparent. And you can see like this red N. Large.
Did a gelatinous cube like swallow a giant N? Or like I'm just like,
I don't know. I feel it's like a mold or a jelly or something, and it's weird. And the N is actually paint, not like blood or something.
If it's blood, it's not blood that you like. This vivid red. You've never seen blood like this before.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick up a pebble and throw it over there, John.
Okay. So you throw it. Atticus sort of steps back a little bit before you do so, and as the pebble hits the N, you can see that the wetness actually lurches off of the stone and collapses around the pebble right at the same time, and then it expands out like this transparent goo sort of like expands outwards and like expels the stone like as if it didn't want it. And then you can actually see like the transparent whatever it is on the wall sort of like shift and crawl with pseudopods like away and up past the N until it's like you can clearly see like in Atticus's lantern light that it's like this wet splotch is actually moved. And then you can also see creeping in from the ground and up towards the N another one. Moving up.
We should get away from this. I do not like this.
Having seen this, can we take a beat on the entire room and see if there's anything catching the specularity of our lanterns? Any reflection?
That'll take a turn
because
it is a very large room.
Yeah, I don't want to move around. How high is the ceiling?
And Ted, I said the base of the triangle basically is like 100 feet.
So I need to make
it's
it
much bigger.
It needs to be bigger, like twice as big. Yeah.
How high is the ceiling, John?
The ceiling here, it's still about the same height, so it's about 12 feet tall, but it's quite large. So I did kind of misspeak when I said it was like a grand hall. It's like it's just very wide and spacious.
So primary focus for Onweir is going to be making sure nothing on the ceiling in our immediate vicinity is shiny.
Okay, so as you sort of slowly do a circuit and you start close to where you are, you don't seem to see anything like else. Everything else seems quite natural. If you want to do a circuit and kind of check around carefully, it'll take another like a turn. You want to do that?
Yeah. But I want to do that, but I'm also going to kind of keep my shield angled over my head while I do it.
Okay, fair enough.
And
okay,
we can do this staying clear of those things. Like we're watching the ones that we've seen move.
Gotcha. Okay.
To stay clear of those.
Yeah. So let's see. We only got one light source, right? So Gord, Coswallop, and Mort, are you guys going to kind of do this in the darkness and sort of use your dark vision, or what do you?
Do these things show up on our infravision?
I'm asking if you're taking if you're going off on your own to search, or are you just going to kind of go with Atticus and do the circuit with the light?
Well, I guess I say we hold back long enough to find out whether these things even show up on infravision, and if they do, then that's helpful. If they don't, we should join the lantern.
Right. Okay, so you basically you're going to tell Atticus to like back off for a second. We need to check to see if these things radiate heat.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing?
You know what?
Yes.
While he does that, I have an extra torch. I'm going to go ahead and light an extra torch, so we have 2 light sources. It seems like it would be handy to have.
Yeah. I'm also willing to bet that it does not enjoy the touch of fire.
Okay, so when Atticus backs off and the N area is now in darkness, there is a very slight heat signature, but it appears to be a very, very low body temperature. Like it's like a cool blue. You know what I mean?
Right. And so if we stood here for a while and kind of looked around, do we pick up more of them?
No. However, you can definitely tell there are 2 there. Okay. But you do see something else appear when the light is taken away from the area where the N is. The N actually has a slight heat signature itself, and there is also what appears to be something hidden follows after the N and appears only in your infravision.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And what does that say?
There is just the letter O next to the N.
No.
So we're coming from the way that the big sign says no.
Well, we don't know if there might be more letters.
We're not aware.
Why don't we
any...
bring a torch back, light it up again? Like maybe that change makes something toggle.
Okay, so you attempt that and pull it back again. That appears to be the only 2 letters that are exposed in infravision.
Within our range of vision. If we move around the room, we might find more. We can't see the whole room.
You have not started to move around the room yet.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there's value. Well, so one we could not see when the light was. Wait, no.
We could see the N, and then for infravision we see the O.
In the infravision, you see both the N and the O.
Right. So the question is whether it means no, or whether it's 2 different messages, or one.
It could also mean on, right?
But I guess my confusion, was that because it's infravision, I'm assuming this is the case, our light made it hard for you to see the O in infravision because it was flooding.
Correct.
Yeah,
space.
you can't use infravision
only with the removal.
source.
Yeah, only with the removal of the light source. So I only bring that up because we might have to both do a light and a dark search of the room if we want to find another letter.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think is fine. We can manage that.
My main thing, John, is I don't want to step in goo or have it fall on my head. So that is going to be the primary goal of my infravision guided search around the perimeter of the room. Can we track those 2 that we saw? Are they both heading up towards the ceiling?
They appear to have stopped. So the bottom one is now basically like right near the N, and the other one is probably about like 5 feet towards, 5 feet towards the west, like towards the mouth of.
Was it the light they didn't like? You think? Is like that was the impression we got? Was they were moving away from light?
Tough to tell. You have no idea.
Okay.
Well, it was the pebble that caused the movement.
Oh, the pebble. That's what activated. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And the second one that showed up, it crawled up through a crack in the ground.
Not sure. You don't know. You just happened to catch it as it was started moving up the bottom of the wall.
Okay. Well, while they're doing that in the light, I'm looking for places in the floor where, things could come up.
Does not appear to be many. That does not appear to be a seam or anything like that.
Good. I don't want there to be that.
Okay, so Goran is making a circuit in darkness. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Gordon,
with
Mort.
somebody. Mort's
Or
coming with
can't-
me, right?
Yeah, can't we all go as a group and you guys just stay at the edge?
We have to stay a
Yeah,
distance
at the
away
edge,
from the
out
lantern.
of the
yeah.
light. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
you're not like
Okay.
going different ways. You're just like
No. We're all together. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
just at the edge.
that'll
Shall we
take
go clockwise, gentlemen?
another turn. Okay, as you so going clockwise, you make your way around using the small guy's infravision first, and indeed you don't come across any more of those crawling pseudopod-like creatures or whatever it is on the wall. However, at the northern side, you also see another mark. Painted in red first, and then the infravision reveals the rest of it. So that the single letter that you see is E up at that north end, but then your infravision reveals exit.
Ooh.
And this is written, to be clear, in the paint is fresh, like not wet, but it's not like old, like old and weathered, and it is written in modern Arcantian script. And then moving back towards the southeastern exit, you see the same thing. There is one letter that is clear to the eyes, and that is W. But with infravision, it reads workplace.
I love this.
So you can see to the naked eye that it looked like just
Northeast
indicators.
west.
Of directions, yeah.
And it's not.
Oh, cardinal.
So,
yeah, cardinal
someone
left.
had very similar thinking as Avaricios and his arrows.
Yeah,
I love
totally.
this.
Right.
I'm like in workplace, guys.
At that moment, so you guys are all sort of huddled around and asking
Southeast
sort of
corner.
Goran and Morton Codswell about like what they're seeing on the southeast. So you're on that southeastern end there. And at that point, Atticus is sort of like peering around and his lantern just goes whoosh, darkness. Avaricios' flickering torchlight is the only thing that illuminates the area now.
Can I ask you a quick question of the guys?
Yeah.
The north is not where we came from, but it's listed as exit rather than the way we came, which would imply to me that it's a shorter route out than the way we came. In which case, is there any value? I hate to say it. Is there any value in exploring how close that exit might be?
There is value to that, but let's take care of our torch situation.
I agree. I'm just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there.
So, John, is that just the? We would know. Was it just the time of the lantern to burn out, or
Yep.
was it extinguished?
Yep.
Okay.
And don't forget, when you lit that lantern, someone should have marked off an oil flask.
I have plenty of extra oil. I'd be happy to fill the lantern.
Yeah, Nyal has one too.
Okay, so if you're
all right,
filling
why
that,
don't you use
refilling
this
it, you
first?
need to mark off then an additional flask. So 2 should have been marked off then, if you're starting it back up again. All right.
The flask we just used up and the new flask.
Okay,
Correct.
so Ted, why don't you do one and I'll do one?
Okay, got it.
Okay.
All right,
got
so
it.
I love where David's head is at. I do like that idea of trying to find like a more expedient way out. I do think that there's more to discover in this room, and I'm kind of concerned about the little jelly things rolling around in here too. So, what do you guys think?
Oh, I forgot a key thing here. I'm very sorry. In the room too, and it's not like all over the place, like not festooned. However, in little patches, like in nooks and crannies in the stone, and in the like the corners where the wall sort of meets the floor and stuff like that, there are small little patches of fungi. The first growth that you've seen. They're not phosphorescent. They don't appear to be, like unnatural or anything like that, but there is a little, there is some evidence of actual growth here.
John, did they look reminiscent of the fungi that we saw in Gerlad's room that screamed the warnings?
No, those appear to definitely be some sort of weird mutant sort of mushrooms, but this is the first indication of mushrooms you've seen, period, since you walked into Gerlad's room.
And the mushrooms are they? Did you say that they were all around this big room, or were they in
In
one
little
direction?
patches? They're just sort of like little nooks and crannies, natural
Starting
places
to
where
kinda
fungi would
show
sort
up.
of be. Yeah, you do see too that there's very little detritus in the middle of the room, as well. It seems to be pretty clean.
Crossing,
Sure.
Yeah.
people crossing through it, right?
This
More
may be
Guys,
the.
was Gerlad human?
As far as we
think
could
so.
tell.
I mean,
So
yeah,
Gerland is human. So who is writing for the sake of infravision?
Yeah.
our lower dwarf friend.
You remember that he had a slim build, but he was robed and cowled and all that sort of stuff.
I guess he could be an
Gerland was.
Well, I mean, can't druids, I think, cast spells to be able to see?
Mm.
I don't know, but maybe they could.
Maybe, but John, let me ask you this question then. For those of us who have infravision, I would assume that this would be something that people in our race would know of and also make use of, right? Like, what is it that that you can paint with that will generate enough heat for it to be written in infravision? Like, what is that?
You don't know exactly the nature. I mean, I guess probably the halls in Castledor would probably have something similar. There would be some sort of like bioluminescent paste, but only that would be exposed in that spectrum. You know what I mean?
Okay,
It's like
cool.
a UV paint. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
like
something that's known about. Like, you don't have to tell me the physics behind it, but I just want to know that this is not something that those of us with infravision have never heard of before.
I guess that's probably true. Yeah, you probably have. It'd probably be a smart way for those cultures to probably live would be to have some sort of secret identifiers like that. Yeah.
Two thoughts. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
One, the center of this room might be clean and clear because something cleans and clears it. So we might want to stay clear of that ourselves so that we are not cleaned and
Good
cleared.
point. Good point.
I guess my thinking with that was John is saying that someone is using, like, so many people are crossing through here that center area has just the detritus kind of brushed away from it, right?
Maybe. Or there's something that likes to clear it out.
So can I follow on that, which is that who would have infravision and would move in through here in large numbers is beastmen.
You don't know
and,
they have infravision.
and monkeys.
I don't know that they do, but they're more likely to have it than the baboons.
No, baboons can see just fine in the dark.
That's not infravision.
We don't
That's
know.
more light vision.
We don't know. We don't. They're mutants.
Well, we read their book. We read their book of how to take care of them. John,
Can we decide on should we go do David's suggestion and go look for the nearest exit?
Before we do that,
Oh no.
no, I patiently listened to all of your questions. I'm trying to be better about not interrupting. All right. This is the dolmen wood in me, but can I inspect one of these fungi more closely, John?
Sure.
Want to lick it?
Take a look. Are there any spores on it? Is there any unique shape to it? Is there any familiarity that I have, et cetera, et cetera?
No,
that was.
I guess you would probably.
I wanted to kind of help him there too, because would I recognize any of these things?
It's not remarkable. They seem to be like normal mushrooms that would be natural in these sorts of caves. It's almost like more unnatural. It's not. I'm not even going to lead you down that track because I'm just going to drop things that aren't meant for you to pick up. But they're like natural mushrooms. It's just this is the first indication that you've seen of them in these caverns.
Psychedelic, no. Edible, yes.
You wouldn't know about that. They don't. They're basically they're not that interesting. It's just the fact that they exist. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So we need to.
It's the first life we've seen down here. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to wrap it up here. I think. What are we thinking? Do you want to go north, where that said exit, or southeast-ish, which said workplace?
I would like to spend an hour exploring towards the area where the exit is, and then if nothing really pans out there, come back to this room and go to the workplass area.
I agree.
That's what I would vote for.
My thinking is just if it's close, yeah.
I like that in reverse. I like go down towards the workplace for an hour, see if we can find something there, kind of mark it, and then get out. Like before it gets too dark, before we start worrying about like it getting late and not being able to make it out.
My only counter to that is if we go to the workplace and we stir up an army of baboons, it's going to be really nice to know if there's a way to flee that isn't crawling on our hands and knees through a tiny tunnel.
Right.
So if there's a clear egress at the exit side, it gives us an escape hatch if we really stir up bullshit in the workplace, which is possible.
Okay.
And also the
we
other
can vote on it, but that's just my thought. Yeah.
No, but I agree. And go ahead, Ted.
Well,
What do you think?
I mean, I see what you're getting at. My thought would be that stirring up a bunch of baboons, for example, which is what I think you were getting at there, at the least, I would say from that little tiny tunnel, Cisco and Tresco are not following us through that tiny tunnel. They simply won't fit. So the exit is probably an exit that they can use and do use, which means they'll know it, right? The route that says no is not a route that they're taking, I would guess.
And then my only other counter to that would be that if the exit to the north is an actual quicker way out, it's nice to have this like secret entrance area that they don't know. Last thing we want to do is disappear down the tunnel. That is, as far as we know, our own little personal like in and out, right?
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, again, my concern, my concern really is like speed, because we're always outpaced by enemies because we have a bunch of plate mail. So an exit that not only like naturally slows us because we're on hands and knees, but also we are especially slow and because of our encumbrance, in my mind, is almost certain death, which means the tunnels we just came in, if we're fleeing, in my mind, may not be true, but in my mind, is a more sure way to die than whatever the other exit might be. I could be completely wrong. Could be. But I agree with Mike that if we decide to do that, we make it brief. I don't think we spend a shit ton of time doing it. My interest was if it was close by, not if it was a distant exit somewhere.
It might also link up to another part of a dungeon that we've been to, which would be amazingly awesome as well.
What I'm thinking is that, again, I'm trying to keep an eye on that clock, right?
Sure.
Because when it starts getting late, we're going to start getting tired. There's going to be minuses to everything we try to do. So I think if we're going to try that exit way, we go that exit way. We don't backtrack. We go and find the exit, right?
It's 4:30 right now.
Yeah, because then we have an easy way out. Because
from Matt's point of view, then maybe now is the time to retreat, go back to the inn with some of our loot, drop it off, and start this whole thing all over again tomorrow. Without
this new exit that's a lot shorter. It's a shortcut, right? We get to lop a whole big giant chunk off our trip.
Well, no, I'm talking about if it's 4:30 already, right? Yeah. That only gives us another like 3 or 4 hours before we probably have to start taking exhaustion checks and stuff like that, right?
Midnight, I think what he was saying.
Midnight. All right. Well, 6 hours then, or I'm sorry, 8. But okay. I mean, that's fine. So let's just plan on anyway. We can talk about it on Discord. We'll just fight about it. So let's roll initiative.
Thank you for tuning in to.
So no conclusion yet whether or not they're going north or southeast, but
we're going to go a really cool way and do some fun stuff.
Interesting developments. Okay, but we'll leave it there for the nonce. So everyone, thank you again for watching 3D6 Down the Line. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. You know the deal. Please share it with everyone that you know. And we will all see you next time. Have a great week, everybody.
And tune in to the Detox for a special reveal.
There is. I don't even know.
I don't know what that is.
But we will see you.
I'll find out the Detox then.
We'll see you next week, everybody.
Thanks, as always, John.
Thanks, John.
Bye now.